You're listening to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy Podcast, with Rye for Borough, Steve for Newcastle United, and Ted for Sunderland.
Hello, welcome to Two's Company. Where the hell's Three's a Crowd gone these days? Rye is off. He's got a decent excuse. It is his birthday, so happy
That's
birthday.
not an excuse. He's an adult, Steve.
Happy birthday to the cuddly Australian. I'm sure that he'll be back on in due course. He's just avoiding all the talk about Newcastle's Cup parade. I think that's what it is.
We've all been trying.
Unfortunately for Ted, he's had computer issues. We were planning to start slightly earlier, but he's managed to get on his phone and look at the
Apologies.
view. Look at the view. Sure, you've got to show us the view.
It's not bad, is it? I mean, let's be honest. There's definitely worse places to live. It's not looking too bad today. What are we, about 20, 25 degrees, something like that? It's a little bit windy, but yeah, I'll put up with the wind chill factor for now.
Very good, mate. Excellent. Okay, well, this is completely unplanned because this wasn't my show and it wasn't your show. So we're going to have to wing it. So I'll make no apologies for
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I'll make no excuses for starting with, obviously, just a bit of an update on Newcastle's Cup parade today. I'm not going, as anyone who watches NFC Matters knows, I'm at a birthday party in London today, so I won't be at the Cup parade. I do, though, find myself, I count myself extremely privileged. I was at the final itself, and I hope everybody who goes to the parade today has a wonderful, wonderful time. The programme of events for today are very simple. It's a 1:30 start on the Townmoor site. So if you've got your tickets downloaded from on your phone for that, then you just need to go up to the Townmoor. That's when the site opens at 1:30. At 2:00, there'll be a complete replay of the Carabao Cup final. And that will be running until 4:00, interviews, etc. And then the Townmoor entertainment starts at 4:00. 4:30, well, the players will leave St James's Park on the bus along the route that has been chosen. Very simple route for the players. It's along Barrack Road from St James's Park to Gallowgate. Then from Gallowgate down to Percy Street, and then onto the Great North Road off the B1318 and up to the Townmoor. Meanwhile, at the Townmoor site, as the bus is making its way through Newcastle city centre, at 5:00 there'll be a former player question and answer session, and that is going to be with two of Newcastle United's greatest players, Les Ferdinand and Alan Shearer. 6:35, the squad will be on stage at the Townmoor, traffic pending, of course. And at 7:15, there is going to be what has been publicised as Sellers' spectacular surprise. Lots of speculation as to what that might be. Some people feel it could be Sam Fender. Other people feel it might be somebody like Mark Knopfler coming in to play Going Home, or maybe Jimmy Neal singing Big River. But it'll be something like that. Ant and Dec, of course, have confirmed that they're taking part in all of this. And lots of bands as well, local bands getting an opportunity to play on the big stage as well. The event itself finishes at 7:30 on the Townmoor, and the Townmoor closes officially at 8:15. Just a reminder that Newcastle City Council road closure and parking is available on nufc.com. Ilford Road and West Jesmond metro stations will both be exit only from 3:00 on Saturday. And just reminder as well that it's a non-alcohol zone, the Townmoor. So if you are wanting to have a drink before you get up there to see the lads and watch a bit of the entertainment, and maybe have a drink before you get up there, don't take any alcohol up there. There will be stewards in place. There's also a no drone policy at the Townmoor. They're not allowing anybody with a drone to fly it over.
So Rye's not allowed to go, no?
No, it's a big health and safety risk, apparently, having something like that flying over in case it drops from the sky. But yeah, that's about it. And, estimated numbers today, it could be anything from 150,000 to 300,000 people on the streets and at the Townmoor collectively. So it's a busy, busy day in Newcastle. So if you were picking the day to maybe go to the Great North Museum or go shopping at Phoenix, maybe give it a swerve. It's not the best of ideas. You're going to get caught up in a sea of black and white, and you may well regret your decision to go. Maybe
go to the bridges. Go to the bridges in Sunderland. Be empty.
Time Time better, maybe. Go now before it all starts. Yeah, maybe that's the best policy for anybody. Get yourself across there early, but that's the timing, so at least you know what the situation is. So yeah, I mean, Ted, I mean, for me, I hope this is it now. I hope that they've. Oh, I don't believe it, Ted. We haven't got live. I didn't press the live button. Can you believe it? I didn't press the live button. I'm too busy getting you on. Here we go. Unbelievable. And I did press it, and it says an error occurred. Wait a moment. Try again. So I did press it, and it just.
You'll never get it that clean, that delivery, ever again.
It would happen this morning as well when I'm in a rush, right? We'll try again.
Oh, no.
You're listening to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy Podcast, with Rye for Borough, Steve for Newcastle United, and Ted for Sunderland.
Is it working? Can somebody tell us in the chat? We've had an
I think it is.
We've had a Tony Blair here, like an absolute Tony Blair. Can somebody in the chat tell us if it works? Because I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. I think the virus from Ted's computer has now spread across the internet. Oh, Barry says, well, we're live and then turned it off. Well, on my system, it said that it wasn't live.
It was saying scheduled. Yeah, it wasn't actually coming up as live. Oh, why?
Oh, for God's sake. So it worked the first time, but yes, it's working now. I just don't understand what's going on. I really don't. So here we go. Did people hear the full... Did people hear the full information about the Newcastle United parade? I don't understand this.
He will never ever get it that clean again.
Heard the stuff about the town.
Heard the stuff about the town mower.
Thank God for that, Barry. Thank you. At least somebody's awake and live and working. This is crazy. You've got no idea what is going on here. This has been the most confusing morning ever. I'm actually obviously getting a train today down to London, and I've said to Ted, we need to be. Can we start early? He couldn't. He was getting his hair cut. Then we've had his computer breakdown and meltdown. We then realised that it's actually Rye's show, so neither of us have prepared anything to talk about. And then I think I haven't pressed go live. And everybody has seen it, but it didn't come up that it had gone live. It said there was an error. So what a great morning!
So if you're a business watching and you want to sponsor the show, tune in next week.
Don't bother. Yeah. Cancel this show. And now this is bizarre because normally when you end the stream, for example, it would disappear. So people have just got something absolutely mental there this morning. Anyway, there you go. You were halfway through talking about our pay rises, Steve, says Jules.
Yeah.
This is live TV. It is absolute best. I need a lie down. I haven't even had any red wine. I haven't got
nobody can ever accuse us of over rehearsing this, Steve.
Tom Dixon says it's one of those days. It is, yeah. This is what happens.
It is.
What happens on Rye's birthday. Everything goes pear-shaped. Anyway. There we go. So you know what's happening at the town moor. I just hope that's it now. I hope by the time it comes to Wednesday's game, they, for want of a better phrase, park the bus, Ted. Because yes, we've won my trophy, but we've got to get back. Newcastle have got to get back to business, and we are next in action on Wednesday night against Brentford. That's a huge game for us because Brentford are in decent form away from home, and Newcastle United's home form against teams in and around them has been okay, but it's those teams who are on their coattails who they seem to struggle against, like Brighton, etc. So, Bournemouth, another example. We've got to make sure that Newcastle are up for that. They've got to, hopefully this celebration is the last one and they get back to business from my perspective as a Newcastle fan anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've had enough time now, and of course, if we'd be exactly the same if we were in that situation, winning a trophy, a recognised, decent trophy like that, after 70 years, you want to have the biggest blowout possible, and inviting every single famous Geordie that's ever lived, and musicians and all that sort of thing. It's the party that any fan of any club deserves after that amount of time of not winning a trophy. But yeah, you're right. It's now Newcastle have basically got to make that a regular thing. They've got to kind of get the hangover of the party out the way with. And you're right, it's down to business. And you've hit the nail on the head. They've put in some very, very impressive performances this season, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's your Bournemouths, it's your Fulhams and people like that who they just can't seem to put to bed. And it's the winnable games. And the concern, if I was a Newcastle fan, which you're there by the grace of God, I'm not, Steve. But if I was, these are the games where kind of the fans must be walking away a little bit disappointed, because I don't think the performances have been there either. It's Roger, we haven't been on the beer rack, and promise you. They've now got to live up to their own expectation. They're setting the standard, Steve. If they want to be taken seriously as a cup-winning side, as a team that's going to be going up for the top four, they've got to start and win these sort of games. So I think Eddie Howe will have them focused. Obviously, is Anthony Gordon back yet, or has he still got a game to serve?
Suspended today, and his injury, of course, that he got.
Of course, yeah,
is just a minor. It's a minor. It was bruising to the hip, so he'll be back for the next game after Brentford, which is Leicester. So he will be back.
I still think there's enough in the squad. I mean, Brentford, you're right. They're performing decent, but mid-table is a successful season for Brentford, and it's always going to be. No disrespect to them or anything like that, but that's their standard that they want to reach. These are the games that Newcastle have got to win. I think they'll want to put on a decent performance. It's the first home game since winning the cup as well. I think there still will be a bit of a carnival atmosphere about it, certainly in the stands. But I think Eddie Howe's got to have them very focused and then just be a bit more of a killer instinct, to use a boxing term as well, Steve.
Yeah, on last night's show on the Amigos, Steve Hasty was telling us that Eddie Howe on the flight to Dubai for 7 hours was basically sitting watching videos of future opposition. I mean, the guy never stops. Yeah. He's a workhorse, and already trying to find out, the strengths and weaknesses of Brentford, I guess, and Leicester and those moving forward. So, great to see that he's fully focused on this. Barry says, I'm worried about the twisting about this celebration. It's a worrying sign for the way our fan base is going. Twisting about the bust and the moor. We should be high as a kite. And it's a point I've made as well. Yeah, we've never been in this situation for years, Ted. So, there has been a bit of that, but that's the modern day football fan now, Ted. I mean, you'll have seen it. You're on social media. One guy was having a laugh in one of our social media groups, just saying, well, I hope that this particular bus company, not that bus company, otherwise I'll not be happy. And, I hope Bruno's dyed his hair for this. I mean, he was joking, but that's, but, I mean, it does get to that extreme, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's like you say, it's that long since either team has really had much to crow about. Half the roads that Sunderland in 1973 came down, I don't think even exist anymore now. That's and probably pulled by a horse and cart. But Steve, you've got to get fans like that who are going to twist on 21. Fair play, the gent you're talking about is having a bit of a joke about it, but genuinely, there will be people out there. They'll be moaning about what route to take because it's not coming past their front window. It's unfortunately it is so. They exist among us. That's going to happen. But I mean, just go out and enjoy the day. These days don't come along too often. As we know, it's been many, many years since we've had much to crow about between Newcastle and Sunderland. So. Yeah, just go out and enjoy it. Absolutely live every minute. Have fun. Very surprised it's an alcohol-free zone because that would have been some party. But yeah, I suppose 200,000 Geordies on the drink probably would have been a bit of a nightmare to police.
Yeah, and Sunderland play today as well, don't they? Sunderland have got Millwall at home, and I guess Northumbria Police be quite stretched with all of that going on at the same time. You know, I mean, at least
on account of Millwall, yeah.
Well, yeah, because Millwall have got to come through Central Station, and there's lots of Geordies there. I mean, I know it's only a minority who you know are got their minds intent on doing stuff like that, but it's that kind of thing that they've got to be concerned about, and you know,
of course.
You know, but what's your feelings with that game then? Because I mean, we watched with interest last night. The football kicked off again last night. The Championship, Sheffield United 3, Coventry 1. I think I said on our last show, I see Chris Wilder winning this, and Sheffield United. You know, he is the perennial party pooper. He's somebody who's got, you know, a great CV in this division. Leeds, as we know, do fall apart. They've still got the game in hand, of course, which, you know, could see Leeds, you know, get back on level points with Sheffield United, depending on how many goals they score, you know, maybe take them over. But that top of the table now is really looking set. Sheffield United top 83 points, Leeds 80, Burnley 78, Sunderland 69. Sunderland 10 points clear of Coventry now with that game in hand after last night's results. It was a good result for you last night.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we've got to face facts that the top two has gone, and it's a 3-horse race now. I think we've just got to focus on getting the squad fit and actually getting back into form. I know it's not absolute disaster stations. The game against Coventry was very, very disappointing, a bitterly disappointing result. But, you know, taking that away, like you've said before, Steve, we found this way where we're not getting beat often. You know, we're managing to pull draws out of it. You could argue, though, that we should be miles more ahead of what we are. We've thrown away something like 18 points from winning positions this season, which is just terrible. You can't do that and expect to go up as champions or even in the top two. So it's today's about getting back to basics, although there is a bit of an issue in terms of the defence, because Dennis Serkin came out of the England under-21s with an injury. Hjelde is also not available for selection either. Leo Hjelde is another week away. Dan Ballard's about 2 weeks away from coming back. So it's going to be a bit of a makeshift defence today, which kind of worries me a little bit. Jensen Seelt will probably come back in at centre-back and play alongside Chris Meffam. Well, obviously, we'll have Trey Hume at right-back, but it does mean that Luke O'Nien will probably play at left-back, which strikes fear into my heart, if I'm honest with you. Luke has been caught. I mean, even when we're playing in League One, Luke can get caught out of position quite easily as a fullback, and that's something that we're going to have to watch. Millwall's got some pacey attackers in their ranks. Duncan Watmore's known very well to us. Obviously, played for us for a few years. It is a little bit of a concern. The midfield's less of a problem. Enzo Lafay, I think, will be back next week. He's not going to be available on the bench this week, as we thought. So he's a week away. But to be honest, do you want to risk Enzo Lafay in a bit of a scrappy one against Millwall? Probably not. Not his kind of game, I would say. So yeah, it's a nice game to come out of the international games with. I think everybody just wants to crack on with the end of the season now and just see how we fare with it. In terms of Patterson in goal, I don't know, Tom. I don't know. There was a little rumour. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, that's all right then. There was a little rumour that Patterson might miss this one, but I'm assured he probably will make the bench at least, but I'm not bothered at this moment in time about him. He's just been a little bit accident prone, shall we say. There's a few things where he just needs to develop his game a bit more. He needs to dominate his box a bit more. For me, he's too quiet as a goalkeeper. You look at the likes of Pickford, you look at the likes of Joe Hart in the past, even the likes of Tommy Sorensen in goal for us, the good communicators, the shouters. Pavel Cernicek, I thought, was one of the great communicators from the back. He was barking orders. Schmeichel, all the greats are noisy. They make their presence felt. And Patterson, for me, is just a little bit too quiet. And his distribution has been iffy as well. So, yeah, if Patterson does miss out and Simon Moore takes over, I'm not worried about that. I think Simon Moore's a more than capable deputy to come in. And then, we'll see what happens in the close season, because there's rumour is that Patterson is interested in a lot of teams in and around the sort of mid-table area of the Championship. There was the question as well about who I fancy in the playoffs. At this moment in time, I certainly wouldn't fancy Coventry, even though they've had 2 defeats, I think, in the last 4 games. I just don't fancy it on account of we haven't beaten them away for 40 years, so that's not a team I want to come up against. I think the most attractive game will probably be against West Brom, which obviously would mean coming up against Tony Mowbray. I think for the purist and for the style of football, that will be the most attractive one. I think we'd get more enjoyment out of that, but we just want to stay far, far away from Burnley as possible because the kind of... Can you remember Giant Haystacks, Steve?
Yeah,
from back in the day. Well, Burnley are the giant haystacks of the Championship. They'll just sit on you and kill you, and you can't move your hands, you can't move your legs. They'll absolutely strangle the life out of the game, and then just go and stick one in at the end of the match. So I want to stay away from Burnley if possible. They're not an attractive footballing side, but yeah, they just grind out results. So yeah, hopefully an entertaining couple of games against West Brom first, and then if we get through that, then we wait and see. I still think we'll go up, Steve. I really do. I think we're in a bit of a blip. We're in a bit of a doldrum at the minute. But there's players coming back from injury that are going to make a world of difference to that run in. And then we'll see what happens. I know Kirill Louis-Dreyfus has been sort of emptying some of his pocket money out, getting some of his inheritance early. So we'll see what his plans are to do with that. There's rumours that either he's going to spend a lot of money in the summer if we do go up, or he might even be getting ready to sell the club, which will make for an even more interesting summer.
How would you feel about that?
Careful what you wish for. Well, you've been there, Steve. When Mike Ashley first came in, he was standing in the crowd and all that sort of thing, and going to away matches, and it all turned sour very quickly. And the people who you think might have the club's best interests at heart sometimes don't. However, on the flip side of that, we've got non-exec directors who are very, very well connected people, the likes of Leo Pearlman, Steve, who I know you know. They have contacts across the world who have very, very deep pockets, and that's what you need to run a football club. Having said that, I don't think Kirill Louis-Dreyfus is getting the credit he deserves at times. He's made the facilities at the club a lot better. I think he's sort of arrested this whole, frittering money away on journeymen who are just here for a bit of a holiday. We've seen plenty of them in the past coming to Sunderland. The likes of Alan Stubbs, Jolien Lescott, Stephen Pienaar. It's just an absolute rogues gallery of people who just had the hand out like that, waiting for a payout, and they just didn't give a toss about Sunderland Football Club. What we are getting at the minute is a bunch of young lads who maybe are looking for a second or third chance at making a good career for themselves, and they've got that hunger. And that sort of whole ethos of the club and what it's been built on lately is making for good stuff to watch. We're seeing the emergence of talent like Riggy and Job, and going on to get into the junior squads, if you like, of the England team, and seeing them come through the ranks then and start to really flourish. So that's great. And I think if we were to get new owners, if that was a possibility, I think they've got to kind of buy into that whole model of what we've got right now. I don't think there's an awful lot wrong with the model we've got. I think we've got the right man in charge in terms of the playing development as well. So at this moment in time, I'll be a bit sad to see Kirill Louis-Dreyfus go, because I want to see just how far this goes, and if we can get into the Premier League, and let's really see how this model works, because what young player wouldn't want to come to Sunderland where the Norse youth is given a chance, and also put themselves on the biggest stage of them all in the Premier League as well. So right now, I wouldn't like to see Kirill go, but you never know, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I've seen media links again. Already they're talking about transfer windows and stuff like that. Mainly because of the club championships, there's going to be two different windows now, which is crazy. The rich getting rich and the poor are getting poorer. What did you make of that announcement this week? It means that is it Chelsea? I think we were saying last night Chelsea are going to be in there, and Manchester City are going to be in there, and it's just protecting protecting those people who don't need really protecting.
It's, well, how many times have we had this conversation about them? Just, yeah, the money people just seem to be a protected species. We've seen it with financial fair play. We'll see it with these daft rules about 2 transfer windows in the summer and all that sort of nonsense. I don't know. I don't know whose pockets they're trying to grease, but yeah, it's disappointing, Steve. It's kind of it's taken the working class element and the whole roots of football out of it. It just feels very, I don't know, sterile. The whole, it's more to do with the money side of things, and it just, it's bottom line stuff. It's financial play, and yeah. Listen, the fans are getting forgotten about. You only have to look at the kickoff time, Steve, and the amount of times that there's been a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff this season. I don't think we had one. No, one in February. 1 3 o'clock kickoff in a whole month that Sunderland had. That's in the Championship. So the Premier League fans, especially, they're just getting steamrolled, Steve, and it's all for the sake of that, which is very, very disappointing. But it ain't going to change. We've seen people go up to these FIFA conventions and, like, sort of show them up by emptying bags of fake money onto the counter and all that sort of thing. But it's almost like the brazen about it. The likes of FIFA and UEFA, I don't think they care about any of the insinuations about the money side of things. It's all for their own gain, and unfortunately, it's the fans who suffer as a result. And I just don't see where that's going to end.
Question there from Tom for you. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm trying to read that because it's very, very tiny looking on the phone.
You think you can keep Job Bellingham for next season?
I think if we go up, Tom, it depends on what division that we're going to be in. I think Job now needs Premier League football, or certainly from next season he will. So if we get promoted, great, because like I say, that whole youth development side of things is perfect for him at Sunderland. The flip side of that, if we don't go up, there's teams who will come in for him, and they're already circling. Steve, we've talked about it before. The likes of West Ham, Tottenham, Man United, they're all sniffing around the likes of Rig and Job anyway. In fact, there was a rumor that I think it was Spurs were ready to spend 38 million on Chris Rig, which is, yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a risk to take on a 17-year-old lad, like. But it's we've got to do our best to keep hold of them. But the whole, like I say, the whole way the club is built is we will sell young talent, and even if Job gets us into the Premier League, and let's say we even stay up, which would be a miracle, of course, but say if we stayed up, even then holding on to him after that, I think we've got to face facts that Job is off to a big club at some point in the very, very near future, I think. So yeah, I think we'll keep next season if we go up, but I can't see us holding on to him beyond that. He's looking more and more a player.
Newcastle link with Rig as well.
Yeah, that's never going to go away, because obviously his dad's an absolute massive Newcastle fan. He's made no question about that. Riggy played it well. He took any reference to being a Newcastle fan off his social media stuff and all that kind of thing. Did that when he was just breaking through into the first team at Sunderland. I don't know. It all comes down to money at the end of the day, Steve. And like, as much as we would be disappointed to see him go to the local rivals, of course we would. It's a different scenario to when we took Lee Clark going the other way. That was Clarkey, I think, probably by his own admission, wasn't high up in the pecking order of players there, or high enough in the pecking order of players at Newcastle, and that's why he wanted first team football. I think this one would really be a bitter pill to swallow for Sunderland fans. But like I say, if they're going to slap down 40 or 45 million for Chrissy Rig, then somebody who have brought through the academy, mate, we can't turn down that kind of money, as much as we'd hate to see it.
Middlesbrough take on Oxford this weekend. It's a home game as well. So with Newcastle playing Wednesday, it's one of those rare weeks where all three of us are playing home, in the same week.
Yeah.
Oxford, of course, are sitting in 18th position, 42 points. Middlesbrough still on the cusp of the playoffs, 54 points, sitting in 8th position. Key game this for Borough today, Ted. They've got to win this kind of game, because if they lose this, there are teams behind them: Blackburn, Watford, Millwall, of course, who are on 51 points, and Sheffield Wednesday. I think Norwich on 13th are probably just a little bit too far away from getting that kind of playoff position. But I would say down to 12th and Sheffield Wednesday, they've still got a chance if they can put a run together that they can overtake. So Borough have got to win this game to stay in that playoff hunt.
They do, and I think they will. I mean, for me, Oxford, they've done all right since coming up. It's a big jump coming up from League One. To be honest, we know that we fluked our way to the playoffs at the first time of asking. To be fair, played some decent football along the way. Of course, we had Ahmad as well to help us out with that. But Oxford are really finding it tough. They've got some decent players there. They look relatively well organised. It's just a quality gulf, Steve. And I cannot see Oxford coming away with anything at all from this one. I think you said last week you actually fancied a draw for this one as well, which was which is a bold one. And I think a draw could even sack Michael Carrick, this week. I don't think that would be enough. The expectations there, and like you say, with that pack that's closing in on Middlesbrough, Millwall for one, do not underestimate them, because there might be a few points behind at this moment in time, but Alex Neil knows how to finish a season and he knows how to get sides into the playoffs. We know that only too well. So honestly, rule them out at your peril, and Middlesbrough really need to start and put some performances in, but there just seems to be like an apathy around some of the signings. Iheanacho, Steve, honestly, I'm a bit out of shape. You know that, you saw us a few weeks back. I'm a bit out of shape myself, but I'm sure I could put myself a bit more than what Iheanacho does on the pitch. He looks massively disinterested at being there. Even when he signed for them, you can see in the look on his face, you'd think a player would be buzzing, right? Oh, hey, decent sized club like Middlesbrough, get me career back on the right track again, but just looks miserable and not interested at all. And to be honest, I think they need to start and make plans without players like that anyway. Get young lads who want to play for the club and at least try and finish as strongly as possible and get themselves back into the playoff positions. I think they'll win today. I think it'll be a comfortable 2 or 3-0. In fact, let's go for 2-0. Let's be a little bit more conservative. Rye would say 6-0, of course, but that's our Rye, isn't it? I think it'll be a comfortable win, but I just worry that, like you say, if Oxford managed to get a draw there, I can't see Carrick being given too much more time, mate.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's gone stale for Michael Carrick, unfortunately. And I think he'll do very well elsewhere. He's done well at Borough. I think he'll do well, when he takes on another job.
Do you think he's got the right people around him, Steve?
I don't know. Sometimes as well, change at the top's not a bad thing. We were talking there about Sunderland potentially, maybe he's having a takeover again in the future. But Steve Gibson, he's Borough through and through. He's done so well for the club. Is he going to hold on to it forever? Can he compete? If you remember when Sir John Hall was at Newcastle and Roman Abramovich came in the game, he decided to step aside and sell the club because he said we can't compete with these people. And I just wonder whether the time's come for Steve Gibson. I mean, still look at that. I mean, is he just going to hold on to it and pass it down the family? Who knows? But he's. Sometimes a change at the top helps. As we know, it can really affect the club as well. Look at Manchester United, who, for years were the dominant force in Premier League football, but now find themselves a debt-ridden club, with...
The dominant farce.
rats and mice running all over the place and, begging for the UK government to build a new stadium. So, you're in a completely different... We're in a different era now, and maybe it's not just Carrick, maybe he needs a change at the top. I mean, I don't follow Borough, as I do Newcastle, but obviously doing this show, I keep an eye on them, so maybe that's it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think if Middlesbrough lose today, then I could see Carrick's job being at risk. They're still got a chance of the playoffs, so it's so tight in that division. And it is, it is very, very tight. Tom, if Carrick does get sacked, who will they get in? I know Gerrard is available. You see, I think I think it's going to be somebody a bit more experienced. They've gone for big names, they've gone for ex-players, but I think it would be somebody with a bit more experience, and I think it would be somebody different to Carrick. There's plenty of managers around. There's plenty of people who are sitting around doing nothing and waiting. So we're looking at we are looking at Carrick, obviously.
Big Sam.
Continuing, you keep bringing Big Sam up. I hate the bloke, but you love him.
I love him. Yeah. I don't know what it is about him. I've got a lot of time for Big Sam, and I think the way that Middlesbrough are leaking goals, it's a club that's made for him, Steve. And he would make them very, very difficult to beat. And he knows his stuff. He gets teams promoted. He knows how to do that, and he knows how to shut up shop as well. Maybe not so much for the black and whites, of course, but it wasn't a great record he had there. I'm sure he was working for us anyway, but I can see somebody like Big Sam going into that, mate.
Yeah, Barry Hogan says Tony Mowbray for a return. He's, he wouldn't say no.
Not a bad shout.
And Sean Dyche says Graham Morton would be a good fit. Again, he's been there, done it in that division. So yeah, plenty of people around. Definitely lots of people who are interested. We will see. Slightly shorter show today because I am otherwise engaged, and I don't want Ted's phone to go off. We've managed to get through the show without any issues. I do
probably overheating in the sun.
It probably is. Probably is. That'll be the next thing. But I do have a few of these. Some wonderful stuff. I did love this from the Sunderland fan. F football, F Isaac, F Anton Deck, F Sam Fender, F Dan Burn, and F Alan Shearer, and F McAllister, Mark and Dan Burn on corners, and F Coventry. That was from SAFC Reedy. I did like that.
That could have been taken from any of my WhatsApps.
This one was from Central a couple of weeks ago. Can I believe we've just beaten the league champions? Yes, they had Isaac out, but still impressive. Very clever. A Bulgarian top-flight team has apologised for holding a minute's silence for a former player, only to discover he is still alive, reported the BBC.
Wow.
And who doesn't like taking a mick out of Arsenal every now and then? Jimmy Moore, I love this one. Mikel Arteta in 2065. We will win the Premier League soon. And a new Netflix series coming out called The Bottlers, featuring Arsenal. Very good, Jimmy. Love that stuff. A lot of talk about which bus Newcastle were going to use, of course, for the parade today. Spurs offered their Newcastle Air tour bus. And Tottenham midfielder Brennan Johnson has started dating adult film actress Lily Phillips, who set a world record last December by sleeping allegedly with 101 men in 24 hours. Joe McBride says, can you imagine the shame of her parents to find out she's dating a Spurs player? And here we are, fact of the day. Kieran Trippier is the 65th player to leave Spurs after 2008 and win a trophy.
Wow.
That's a fact. It's a fact.
Is that a fact? Wow.
It is, looking ahead now to Manchester United. We'll love a bit of Manchester United. Scrambled egg and mashed potato at Old Trafford, handed out to corporate and journalists. God, they treat you well there, don't they?
Oh,
and here's Marcus Rashford, urgently needed back at Man United as club withdraw free lunches for staff. My top three. This was spotted at Wembley in the urinals. A sticker of Kevin Ball. That is the ultimate piss take. And I did like this as well. From Foss Hub, Jamie Vardy has been known to teach himself choice insults in the native language of the centre-backs marking him.
That's quality. That is quality.
That's a fact. That was from Jay Percy.
Brilliant.
That is ultimate trolling. Final one this week is this one. Paul Widger. Bet that number 7 didn't come cheap. And the number 7, of course, is called Costas Fortunas. Fantastic. And I did show this one last night. I love this. I'm a bus driver. If I'm having a bad day at work, I look in the mirror while driving and mutter to myself, you're all C's, aren't you? And then tap the brakes twice so they all nod. You wouldn't want to get his bus. And I know you like these, Ted,
No.
so I kept this one for you. You're playing football with the boys when you were a kid. If you score, you go through to the next round. If you didn't score, you were out. What did you call it, Ted?
Oh, it was cuppy singles. When we also used to play cuppy doubles as well.
We used to just call it cups. So there you go. Similar stuff. If you've got a troll of the week, please send it over to @TedTheMackham on X or @SteveRate on X, and we will feature them on the show.
We'll make a change from getting abused by Leeds fans.
So we can play this tune for Jules. Great stuff. Apologies for a slightly shorter show. Busy day ahead for everybody, and I'm sure you guys out there, Newcastle Persuasion, will be heading off to town if you're in the area. Enjoy yourself. Have a great day. That's what it's all about. Happy birthday again to Rye. Hope he has a great day. Prediction for me for the Brentford game. I am going for a Newcastle 3-1 win. For the Sunderland game, I am going to go for a 2-1 win now to Sunderland. Over Millwall. I've changed my mind on that, but I'm still going to go for a draw, 2-2 draw for Oxford and Borough, which I don't think will be enough to get him the sack. What about you, Ted?
Brentford game, I see you winning that one 2-0. Quite comfortable, I think, that one. The game today, I like Jensen Seelt a lot. I think he's got a big future, actually. I can actually see us shutting Millwall out today. I'm actually going to go 2-0 there as well. Let's go for the trio. I can't see Middlesbrough getting beat. I'm going to go for 2-0 there as well, mate. So a trilogy of 2-0 wins for our three clubs.
Great stuff. Have a good weekend, mate. Enjoy the sunshine.
Man.
Put some cream on your napper.
I need some fucking 50 on. Honestly, I can feel it burning already.
See you next week, mate. Take care.
See you later, lads. See everyone.
Three's a Crowd podcast will return. That's not a threat. It's a promise.